Hey, what's up, guys? Ronin Man here. Early morning, or actually, it's not early anymore. It's about 9 o'clock in Hudson, Florida. Beautiful here. They had just finished a storm. Storm Sally went through here, so things are a bit quiet, but it's nice here. Very nice. Dave was very nice to put us up. I want to talk about something going to surprise some new listeners, and maybe old listeners actually won't be very surprised because I've been very consistent. And I am consistent because my views are my views and they don't change. So some people say my videos are like a Netflix series because they're all connected. You can see how my beliefs, one thing would lead to another. It's like a logical sequence. And I wanted, but at the same time, I really want to, one thing I got to fault myself on is I don't sometimes say clearly what I believe. I give you kind of the Chinese way. I give you a story which shows you what I believe, but I don't say it, right? So I want to say it directly in this video. Just to leave out any interpretation, okay, is that I do not endorse violence. And one of the reasons why I'm leaving MGTOW, and I'm going to close my Twitter account because it's associated. I tried to get Ronin Man, I couldn't get it, and I got Ronin something. I think I got Ronin Man MGTOW, something like that. But I'm going to delete that account because, and also I'm going to rename the summits. The last one we called the Ronin World Summit, World Tour. Like right now I'm on the Ronin World Tour, right? And everything is going to become Ronin, okay? Because I can only take responsibility for my actions, not for millions of people all over the world. And also, I don't agree with everybody, you know? My beliefs, my thinking about life, the way I deal with things, the way I help people, it's very much my own. You know, that's why people watch my video, because it's very unique. You know, no matter what I go through, I find a way to deal with it. I find a way to overcome anger. So I don't endorse violence on any level. I also don't talk about feminism. I'm not anti-feminist. There's a lot of talk online about feminism, and that's great. That's fine. But it's not my channel. I don't talk about feminism. It's not a big... Feminism is... I am not anti-anything, okay? I am pro-freedom, pro-healing, creativity, and basically going your own way. One of the best videos to describe what I do is in my private video series, which is The Power of Walking Away. So instead, violence is the opposite of walking away. Okay, when you're confronted, when Bruce Lee is confronted with a situation, he can walk away or he can be in a fight, right? Those are the two choices, right? And I advocate walking away in that case. And that's why one of my most powerful videos is The Power of Walking Away. I've never put it online, and I was kind of sad because someone else put that exact title up online and it went viral. I was like, damn, I should have made that one public because it was like a good one. It is a good one, actually. I might make it public at some point. Anyway, it's in my private videos right now for if you join Unblackmailable. But the thing is that as a man, you can't change the world. Okay, you can't change other groups, but you can change yourself. Okay, so walking away is not about hiding. Walking away is not about hiding. It's not about evading. It's not about my walking away. Okay, my description of walking away is not about that. My description of walking away is when things can't be changed and you realize that. And so you realize that your efforts to try to change something are not worth it. And that you are best not trying to change people. Let people be the way they are. And then you're walking away. Okay, so you get the difference there. Walking away does not mean evading responsibility. I've never gone financially bankrupt. You know, I never not paid back money. You know, I am very fiscally responsible. And I am also responsible in my life. So I don't believe in what some people actually do is they kind of hide and run away. And I've always said, like, this is not about going into the woods. It's not about going into a cabin. And I am a very social person. I like big cities. I like Tokyo. I like Shanghai. I spent most of my life in big cities, 30 years actually in Asian cities. Bangkok, Tokyo, Shanghai, Osaka, you know, Delhi, Madras, Chennai, down south. You know, so I am into people. I am into life itself. Okay, so if something is not working for you, what a lot of guys do, and this is actually, it goes to the heart of it, why a lot of guys get angry is because they don't realize that they are making their own decisions. They think life is doing to them and not they're doing to life. So you have options in your life. So don't stay in a situation that's bad. That's basically what I'm saying with the walking away. You don't walk away from a good situation. You don't walk away from something where you owe somebody something. You walk away when you realize, and this is opposite of your intuition as a human. Your intuition is to try to change people. And like you tell people, oh, they shouldn't be like this. Feminists shouldn't do this. Women shouldn't do this. This is the instinct. But actually, other people are just going to do what they're going to do. Okay, your job, to use your power, is to not try to change them unless they want to change. If someone comes to you, if somebody comes to you and said, hey, I used to have a problem with this and I'm looking at you as an expert and I really want to change, and they ask for help, then it's different, because you see them as a willing subject who really wants to change. And with that type of person, I would say you definitely want to help them through whatever they're going through. But when it comes to people that are not asking for your help and they're not doing what you think is right, why would you stay? Why would you stay there and try to change them? This is what most guys do. And this is what leads to anger, and this is what leads to violence. The way to be like water is to say, these people are not going to change. This situation is not good. I tried, now I understand the situation and I'm leaving, and that's exactly what I'm doing with MGTOW. I'm leaving the MGTOW name because I realized it's online, the media has portrayed the group as a hate group, and to be honest, there are all kinds of people on the planet, and they can call themselves anything they want. You can call yourself a feminist. You can call yourself a MGTOW. You can call yourself whatever term, a conservative or a Democrat or a liberal or whatever. You can call yourself whatever term that you want, but that I don't want to be associated with everybody who calls themselves MGTOW. There are some guys, there are some good women out there. And I've said this a million times. And I had Dinah Davison on my last episode, and that's a perfect example. Is there's many, many women that are very good. And the truth is, because I know guys in this movement in person, and a lot of guys here really respect their mothers. They have people in their life that really help them. Their life is more complex than they portray online. And that's one thing I always say to beware of. Beware of someone who's giving you an extreme opinion. The reason why is because to get an extreme opinion, you have to ignore some things, right? Life is more mundane. And so don't allow yourself to be corralled into something that you don't really agree with. And I say the same for myself. I'm not going to be corralled by other people's opinions. And I realize that I have a responsibility here. I've been calling the global summits the MGTOW Global Summits. They are no longer MGTOW Global Summits. This is the Ronin Man Summit. The Ronin Man Global Summit. And if you agree with my thinking, my ideas, the way I dissect things, the way I live my life, the choices I make, I welcome you. And one of the things I always do whenever I have a summit is whenever I have a group of people meeting is I screen people. And if somebody is, this is kind of a behind the scenes here, Ronin Man behind the scenes, but if somebody's too angry or I just feel like they're too off, I won't let them come to the summit because I never announce where the summit is. So nobody can just come to my events. So I screen very hard people, and I actually found a reporter who was going to write a story on us, and I use my headhunting skills basically to screen people to come to the summits themselves, because I want to be an open door, but I also don't want to endorse or allow poison into the group, right? One of the key things in the summit is people being honest. And when I realize that somebody's not sharing in the group, I don't want them to come to any more summits. If somebody comes to the summit and they're not sharing honestly about their mistakes, their fears, their pain, it ruins the whole group, because the whole point of Ronin Man is people being honest with themselves and dealing with their problems. That's the whole point, you know, and also obviously once you deal with the problem, then you have a blank slate. You have a clean beginning. And that's when you have to make smart decisions for your new, you know, whatever you're going to do, the new career, the new place to live, the new whatever responsibility you're going to take on or not take on, right? So I help people with either A, get out of the difficult situation, B, then once they're free, to make good decisions, better decisions, to see different models of living. Because there's many different models of living, and granted, a lot of my models are quite out of the box, different than the average society thing expects. But again, they are based on freedom. They are not based on changing other people or hurting other people. It's a very different philosophy. It's a personal philosophy. I believe you should be free and that you should not be tied down. You should not allow yourself to be hijacked by different ways of thinking, like television, the way that your mind can be hijacked into thinking about something you didn't really care about. I don't want you to be hijacked by marketing for terrible food that's going to ruin your body and make you have diabetes, get you diabetes. You know, I don't want you to be hijacked by anger of other people, because we all have our own emotions. You don't need everybody else's emotions. You got your own emotions are enough. You know, and that's what I say to guys that are angry, guys that are out there online that are saying, hey, you know, promoting extreme views on stuff, is I say to yourself, like, how can you have the time? You know, it's difficult enough for me just to be honest with myself and fix myself and deal with my own life. You know, not to mention fit half the population of the world. I just don't have time, but I barely have time to fix myself, to be a better man, to make better choices, to make the wisest possible choices. And I always talk about this, is King Solomon. King Solomon choices. So that when you do get a blank slate, you don't just choose the easy way, just get a job, just do this, do whatever you were planning on doing. No, blank slate, man. There's a lot more options out there than you thought. And making bad choices is a lot of reason why guys either drink too much, are angry, hide away from life, or even to the extreme where they want to get revenge on other people, right? Other groups. It's because of bad choices. If your life is good, okay, and that's what I want to make your life good. If your life is good, you won't have any desire to hurt anybody else. See, when you find yourself in that position, you know right away that you need to work on yourself. 100%. It's an absolute proof that things are not going well for you. And so take the focus off of other people and put it on your own life and your own choices. Because when you do that, okay, and this really is my message, is that most people won't give you the next step. They'll just say, don't do that. You know, don't do that. I'm saying I have found, and there are other wise men in my group that have found better ways of living, better models that you've maybe never thought of. And I want to bring those different models to you. Ways of thinking about things, ways of solving problems, ways of being optimistic, keeping an optimistic vibe. Because, like I said, no matter what happens to me, like basically I can't be stopped. I am going to be optimistic and happy in my life regardless of what happens. Even though I fully am aware I'm going to die. And one of my favorite books is The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker, and the acceptance of the utter futility of it all. I understand all this, and I am still completely optimistic. And it's not because I force it on there. It's my viewpoint, and it's very complex for me to explain this to you. And each video, I'm giving you a little insight into how I do it, you know. And I welcome other guys who have the same feeling. And they see my videos and they're like, yeah, but this too, you know. And they have other ideas that they can bring things to the table. And that's what we're doing here, is we're all sharing our most difficult, painful experiences. We are getting wisdom out of those, okay? So we can make better decisions, more like clean slate. I'm going to say better decisions in order to get out or to clean up or to make way, okay? Like pouring out the cup of coffee, that's the warm cup of coffee, and then pouring it out, and then getting a fresh, hot cup of coffee, right? You can't do it. You can't do it with the same, if you leave the coffee in there. You got to pour it out, blank slate. So that is one of my goals. And then is to help guys to, either whatever it is that they have a goal, like making money online. Like I used to have businesses offline. Now I like to work online. I prefer working online. It gives me freedom to move. It gives me freedom to move around because I don't have a regular job in a certain location. My job is online. So I have freedom. Okay, so that's why, that's one of the things that a lot of guys want. A lot of guys, it's so many things can hold you back. Your own choices. This is my message, is your choices are what are holding you back. Your choice to take that job instead of build your own business. Your choice to, it's very complicated because I do advocate taking jobs if you're going to learn a set of skills that are going to be helpful. So I've taken jobs with I took a job with a major internet company in Shanghai, and I learned a lot, and I worked there for less than half a year, but I learned a ton about online marketing. I learned a ton about traffic. I learned a ton about trends and, payment methods and what was going on online that I never would have found out any other way if I wouldn't have worked for that company. So I'm not saying don't work for a company. I'm just saying, like, if you do something that can tie you up, make sure you have a goal. Make sure, let's say you want freedom, okay? Let's just give you one example here. You want freedom. So you think, I got to build a business online. Maybe not. Maybe you need to take a job with somebody that's going to teach you the skills so that you can do something online, right? There could be a step in the middle or even 2 steps in the middle. So that's what I'm saying, is that it's complicated, right? It's complicated. So you can be temporarily blackmailable in a situation because you choose to. If you choose, for example, if you choose to have a child, you will be blackmailable on that child. But the key point is it's totally fucking worth it if you want a kid. There's no other way to have a child. A child it's an entity upon itself. It is a responsibility. A child is something that is a very personal decision. And so when you choose certain things, you make adjustments but you realize why you're doing them. That's the key thing. See, the reason why Unblackmailable is such a great concept is because you're being blackmailed by stuff that you don't even care about or realize the other options that are available to you. That's the problem. It's not that, hey, you don't want to ever be tied down by anything. Now, some guys might want that. Some guys might want total freedom where they can just leave, move all the time. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of guys actually want certain things in life. Like Dave here wants a boat, right? So he's got a boat. He's got responsibility with that boat. He's got a house, right? He's also got storms. He's got to deal with storms in this area, and they're serious. Flooding, things like that. He wants this boat, and he's got another boat actually over there. But he's willing to pay the price. But it's not like, for me, a boat would be a nightmare. Don't get me wrong. I don't want a boat. For me, boats are a total nightmare. Like, I rarely even want to go on a boat, even if I can go for free. So I'm not a boat guy. But Dave is, right? So he chooses to make that choice right now, while he owns his house, to be responsible for flooding, for the boat. But it's a very active choice. A lot of people do things. A lot of these boats here are owned by people who don't really care. Dave loves his boat. He knows why he uses it, and it's his great date machine, and he does everything with it. This is an integral part of his life, and he considers the sacrifice to be minimal. But most people that have boats, they don't even use them. Look, it's not even used. Most of these boats, you never see them even leave the dock, right? And in your life, there's a lot of boats. There's a lot of freaking boats in your life, right? So if you have a lot of boats that you don't care about, this is where you start to get angry, because you start to feel like, hey, I'm trapped by these things. You're not trapped by these things, right? So my job in Ronin, man, and what I want to make very clear about my purpose my purpose in life is to help guys with health. You know, I talk about yoga a lot. I talk about lifting weights. I haven't done the video publicly about my workout, but I will. Somebody asked me about that. I got to have the right gym, because a lot of gyms, they don't want you to film. I should have done it in Thailand, because in Thailand I had a gym that they didn't mind in my building. But now I don't have that. So I got to get the right gym. So if anybody has any ideas, let me know, because I do want to do that video for you. And I actually want to do it now because I hurt my back in January. So it is kind of interesting. I've had to make some adjustments to my workout, and I can talk about before and after and how the workout still works. And I just made some slight adjustments to the way I did it. Okay. So health, relationships, or lack of relationships, right? Talk a lot about that. I talk a lot about being blackmailable in relationships. I talk about travel, right? I've been traveling now. I've been out meeting guys for over 2 months now. And it's been, I got to say, I don't really know how else to say it, is that this was the best decision I could have made in this period of my life. I'm back in America. I'm going to live in America. I'll live in Vegas. And being gone for 30 years, I was gone for more than 30 years. You know, I had a lot to pick up on, and that's what I'm realizing too now that I'm back, is that, you know, what is quote unquote MGTOW is very a lot of it is American stuff, you know, American laws and this and that. And in many ways, I'm not even American. I mean, a lot of my friends, honestly, a lot of my friends don't even speak English. I speak Chinese, I speak Japanese, and a lot of my friends only speak those languages. You know, I have plenty of people that I dated, friends, who literally cannot even say a sentence in English. And this I consider to be my gem. You know, it's the opposite of hatred. It's a love of other people. It's a love of other cultures. I have a love and understanding of Asia that is so deep. 3 decades. You can talk about your crazy, you know, Asian statue you put in your house. I have 3 decades of being immersed in those languages and people. And I learned, and I have an appreciation for Asia and for other people. And that's another one of my main themes, is the basically international way of looking at life, not only American way of looking at life. You know, my viewpoint is irreparably changed. This is not some bullshit here. This is serious. When you live overseas for 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years, you really do adopt a different way of living and thinking. And especially in different languages too. You almost have a different persona in those languages. And it opens your heart, it opens your mind to new ways of thinking and new ways of viewing things. So I try to bring those gems from these other cultures without making up a big deal and hokey pokey. I just put them in there like, boom, here's an idea. You know, you don't even know it's from Japan. You don't even know it's from China. I want to take the wisdom. It's not about, oh, I'm such a great guy and all this stuff. No, it's like, what can I tell you that you don't know that would help you, right? How can I present something in a way that's going to make you, that will allow your heart to open and you will change, right? And see things differently or overcome something using my experience, personal experience and knowledge. One thing I don't often state is one of my main gifts, I would say, is my international viewpoint. And that's why I have such an international following. You know, like there's every type of man is on my channel, and women. There are a lot of women on my channel, and there are a lot of men from all over the world. And this is not, I even hate saying this. You know why I hate saying this? Because everybody, like every Benetton ad is like, you know, the inclusiveness and stuff. And I really see them as fakes, total fucking fakes. This is opposite, because these are people attracted to my channel. Why? Because I don't see things through a certain prism, is my guess. I have to ask them really to know. It's difficult to ask a ton of people, 10,000, 16,000 people, what they think. But other channels don't have such an international following. Mine has an international following for a reason, because that's why, the first MGTOW summit was hilarious, because there were so many guys from other countries and different ethnic groups. It was hilarious. It was like, because we all didn't know what each other was going to look like. And we got together, we're like, holy shit. Like, no way. Like, we were like all happy to see that. I guess what we were happy to see is that the ideas resonated across the world. you know, that we weren't alone. You know, that's what we saw it as, you know. So I just want to say that don't be angry. It's not what Ronin Man's about. Obviously, I sympathize, I empathize. If you watch my scapegoat video, you will know that I understand and empathize with people with trauma, and a lot of people who join Unblackmailable is because of childhood trauma, some kind of either bullying, trauma, abuse, this kind of thing I talk about a lot. And when you are in a situation where you're subject to an abusive situation, there are a complex chemical, a potion that's released in your brain, and it makes it very difficult to recover, because these chemicals should not be together. There are things like that bind you to the person that abuses you. You know, you have to overcome that. You have to understand that, right? And I talk about all that kind of stuff when I talk about any kind of narcissistic abuse, psychopathic abuse, these type of issues, right? The other thing I talk about is, let's see what else, is living abroad. So I talked about travel, like I travel a lot. I've traveled all over America now, I don't know how many states we've been to, but it's been a boatload. And it's been great, you know, like Arkansas was the biggest surprise. I love Arkansas. I had a great time in Arkansas. And South Carolina was beautiful. I mean, every place, man. Jersey blew me away. I expected Jersey to be a big factory. It was great. Hanging out with Drinking Dave was freaking awesome. Very, very healing. But living abroad is another topic besides travel. Travel is one thing and living abroad is another. So a lot of people come to me for advice on living abroad, because obviously I've done it and I did it more than once. I changed countries. I went to different places, and that's very different than traveling. When you pick up and move abroad, you are having to undergo some very big changes, and I think that they are good for you. I mean, I think living in different countries on your own without a corporate backing is one of the best things you can do to open your mind up to new ways of thinking. And so I teach people about how to live abroad, how to live in different countries, right? And I got to say that there's two ways of saying it. I could say I teach, people see me as an expert in that, and they come to me for help. So if you don't want help in something, I'm not interested in helping, right? Like I said in the beginning, it's only when people want help, they want to change, they see value, they see me as an expert, and they're interested. And that's the people I want to come to the summits too. Is I don't want anybody to come because they're going to pay money. That is not my goal, because it just ruins the whole fucking thing. Because then you have one guy who's not being honest, and he's not empathizing with other guys, and then it just ruins the whole discussion. So if you're full of hate, if you're not willing to change, if your whole thing is rampaging against other people, and you promote violence, I don't really want to know you, to be honest. This is not what I'm about. You know, I'm 55. You know, I'm not young. You know, I want to be with people. The reason why I started this channel, okay, was kind of chumming the waters. I wanted to chum the waters to see if anybody thought like I did. And I put out the chum, and guys came. And they said, you know what? I agree with that. You know, I'm totally into that. Like oh wow, you did it that way? I would like to do it that way. You know what I mean? Like there was a feeling like, yeah, you know, yeah. I chummed the waters with my honest self. And that's why the people that come, either to the summits, whatever you want to call them, they came in because of me. They listened to what I said, and they were attracted to me. When I meet people on this trip, and I'm not kidding around, when I meet people on this trip, I'm always amazed at how, like, you know, like I don't want to brag, but I mean, like, how meaningful my videos were to them, and how much many things we have in common, you know. And I don't see that with my normal people in my life. They don't know my deepest thoughts, but I often share my deepest thoughts in Ronin Man. And so guys that listen to the channel, they listen to the whole video, they often know a lot about me, and they start sharing themselves with me. Either we have something in common, or they want to be like me, or they were like me and they change. Anyway, there's a feeling of connection. You know, there's a feeling of connection. And that's what I look for. That's what I look for. People that I put out the chum of my honest life. People are attracted to that because they say I either aspire to that, I respect that. I'm like that. You know, some guys I meet actually are like Ronin. There's been a couple guys I'm like, you guys are just like spot on. You know, like I feel like almost I feel like I can't teach them anything because they know they're just, you know, I'm like, whoa, this guy's fucking right on. Like, this guy's a bro, right? And that's an awesome feeling. You know, it's like that's been shocking to me too, is how many guys just I meet and they're just like, yeah, I did this, or they watch my video and they're like, yeah, I lost 60 pounds, I did this, I got a new job, you know, the girl was doing this and I did that, I left and now I'm happy, a new girlfriend, I got a new life, I moved to Thailand, I moved to Japan. I get emails like this all the time. And this is what makes me happy. This is why I do the channel. I don't do it because some group, okay? I'm sharing myself, honestly, and I'm hoping that somebody else is like me. I'm just putting it out there. Like, it's you could say chumming the waters, but it's more like looking for alien life. I'm just like beep, 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 putting it out there. Like, does somebody care about this? Does somebody think about this? Does somebody feel this? And then I get back response like, oh my gosh, somebody heard the message, you know. That's the way I feel about it. So I want to close this video. I don't endorse any action other than being free on your own and taking responsibility for your life. That's where the gold is. That's where the juice is. Don't harm others, improve yourself. You know, if somebody doesn't fit your lifestyle, you want to leave, but not, the best way is not to leave in anger and not to leave with a, you know, sometimes people leave, but they leave with a barb, you know, like they say something mean. No, before you leave, you want to heal. You want to know why you're doing it and what. Now, of course, if someone's chasing you, you know, with a knife, then if some situation is impossible, then you do have to get out. But that's pretty rare. That's pretty rare. Most of the time, you can slowly make an exit and you can be nice, because when you realize that you're free, okay, when you realize you're free at every level of your life, you won't be angry, because you'll realize like, oh, this was a bad decision. You know, I shouldn't be here. You know, I made a bad decision. And then you say, okay, well, I'll make a new decision, right? And then you get out of it. You got to pay a price, but you can get out of it. So that in itself releases a lot of the people, they're angry because they feel, I guess because they've made so many bad decisions and they have never worked on them. So it's like bills. You got too many bills and you feel hopeless, right? I say it's not hopeless. Everything can be cleaned up. Those bills can be taken care of. You might need a little help to get yourself back in a state where you're in control of your own life, but it can be done and it should be done. Don't descend into being drunk all the time. Don't descend into avoiding life, and don't descend into hating others, because that doesn't help you. I mean, not only does it not change them, it's a waste of time, but it doesn't help you, right? My channel is about helping you so that you can be better and your life is better. And I hear these stories all the time, right? From people on the channel and here in person when I meet people. So I got to say at the end, I want to say that two things influenced me recently why I want to make this video about I am not a MGTOW. One of them was Barbar's video on September 11th. Barbar's got his own reasons, and I recommend you listen to it. I'll put it below. It was a great video. And you can see a lot of people commented they're human. A lot of people commented it was a fantastic video. It was his own reasons. But when I saw that video, it really affected me, because I really thought, man, this is a man, you know. Barbar, I'm like, this guy is a man, and he's taking a stand, you know, and he's being very, very responsible about it too. You know, and he's also, you can just sense in his voice, it's like he's just being honest. This is what's up with me. And that is exactly the same spirit that I attempt in this video. That's it, guys. I am no longer associated with MGTOW. I didn't really know where the acronym would go, where it would go. And now that I see there's a lot of people using it in the wrong way and associating with things that I don't believe in, I don't live by, I don't want to associate myself with that. It's not my monkeys, it's not my battle. My channel, Ronin Man, is about myself. I'm going to rename all of the summits, Ronin Man Global Summit, And I will delete, when the time is right, I'll delete my Twitter account because it's Ronin Man MGTOW and I am not MGTOW. So it's Ronin Man, baby. That's who I am, and my ideas are right here. You can hear them, you can listen to them, you can implement them, you can share in them. Together, we immerse in good ideas. Try to find better ideas. Sometimes I'll share stuff and I'll be like, later on, I'll be like, wow, I can actually do better. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like set in stone, like, here's my rules, you know? No, man, it's a never-ending search to be better as a man and to have a better life and to overcome every challenge. And I'll just end on this. To overcome things, sometimes you need to be cracked open. You need to be cracked open in order to let go of a mindset, a thinking, a misnomer that you have. And that's okay. That's okay on my channel, on Ronin Man channel. It's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to have difficulty. It's okay to, you know, feel bad about something you did or regret and to make new changes. It's okay to be unsure. You know, a lot of the things society says men can't be. Men, if we're unsure, we're just, you know, terrible. You are unsure. We are unsure at times. And that's the way that you get to the next stage, is by honestly saying how you are. You know, sometimes you're not perfect. We're all not perfect. So that's the spirit, man. If you're on board with this, share this channel with other guys. And if you're not, that's totally fine too. Leave the channel, unsubscribe. You know, I am no longer MGTOW, and I will not associate my name with any group in the future. You know, Ronin Man is my brand. I define it. And if you want to know what it is, you can ask me. Because I take questions and I often talk to people in real life. So I'm a real person. So anyway, thanks for listening. And I hope I did a good job, because this is an important one. I really wanted to put myself out there. So if you have any questions, please comment below, and I would love to see your reaction. Thanks, guys.